Hi guys, it's that time of year again. It's time to show you everything that I knit in 2024. My name is Claudia and welcome here on Claudia's Knits. It's the 5th of January actually, so the year has gone by. I have already finished objects for 2025, so I'm not going to show you that, but I do want to show all my finished objects of the last year. Last year I did one for everything I knit in 2023, and that was a really full packed video. I knitted so much in 2023 and this year definitely is a lot less. So I watched it back and I knitted 47 items in 2023, and this year I'm at 21 items, I believe. So it's like half of it. 21 items, of which 13 are like garments, sweaters, vests, sweaters, cardigans, tops. And so this is the stack of sweaters. Oh, my tops just fell down. Well, basically, just to show you, this is my stack of summer tops. So I also have made some hats this year, some socks and other accessories. So this year I want to show you everything, all the items. I don't know how in-depth I will be because I haven't prepared this all that much. I usually don't prepare this, but I do want to give a review of the projects, if I have worn it, how the yarn is held up, and if I have something to say about the pattern, I will. So I hope you will enjoy this. I also do want to mention some patterns at the end that are not finished objects but are on my needles for quite some time, or I have spent a lot of time in 2024 on. But I will save that in the end. Maybe even some knitting intentions. I will drop them here and there because one of the things that's different this year as opposed to 2023, like I said, is that I knitted way less. 2023 was, for me personally, a really hard year. I've talked about that in that video. It was a year of therapy knitting, mental health. I was recovering from burnout and depression, went to a breakup. So I needed knitting as a way of coping and to heal myself, because I really needed to heal that year. And last year, I started the year with moving. So it's practically a year ago that I moved into this place, my own apartment. And as you can see in the background, if you don't know me, I do love color. I like pink, and this place really suits me. I live near the city center, so I just love my life so much this year. And that means that I have knitted less. I started dating again. I do have a boyfriend now, so that took up quite some time. So I knitted less, and I do like that because now knitting is more my hobby as opposed to a necessity or an obsession. Sometimes I've been less obsessed with knitting, and I think that is healthy. My bank account doesn't agree yet because I have been spending more money on yarn recently, and there is yarn underway from the Knitting for Olive sale, but that is one of my intentions, to keep knitting as a hobby, as a way to relax and just enjoy my time and to make pretty things, but enjoy the process. Make more projects that I will wear, because there are some filled projects in here and I will talk about that, and just treat myself a little bit to nicer yarn, because I did love a good sale the last couple of years and I regret that. So I have a lot to say. I have my coffee with me and my laptop down here for some details which I wrote down, but we'll see how far we get. It will be a little bit in order of when I finish this. So let's start with the first one. And I knitted this sweater in about a month. So I started it around Christmas and I finished this at the end of January. So this is sweater number 18 by My Favorite Things Knitwear. And as you can see, it's an all over textured pattern with only knits and purls, so it is really easy. It is a dropped shoulder, as you can see. So this is the back. It has a classic drop shoulder construction, I feel like. So the slanted edge over here, the trapezium shaped yoke or back piece, some shaping under the arm. Then you pick up stitches for the shoulder, some shaping around the neckline, and then you join the work in the round. So this is the second sweater number 18 that I have made, because the year before I have made, or in my first year of knitting, it was one of my first sweaters that I ever made, was sweater number 18, and I do still recommend this as kind of a beginner sweater. It is not difficult, there are not difficult stitches, the pattern is really well written, all the rows are basically written out, so you don't have to read a chart or anything. And from afar it looks like almost the same repeat, but it really is not. Actually there are some differences. It is, I believe, a 45 stitch row repeat, so that keeps it engaging. I do have a clip of me trying everything on, so I will insert this, and if you know, I do this gesture to help editing me for putting in here the clip. But as you can see, it is a really oversized sweater, and it turned out to be a bit more oversized and like wider and boxier than I was intended to. I knitted this in size large, which is my regular size with knitting. I knitted on needle size 5. And I wanted to re-knit this sweater because I really like the fit of the first one. Does this fit the same as the first one? No. So I still like the fit of the first one better. I think I rushed this project way too much. This was my holiday project last year in the wintertime. I was in Spain with my parents, and I wanted to see how quickly I could finish this. Well, I'm not doing that ever again, because one, I don't enjoy knitting on it that much if I do it this way, but also I make some decisions for the speed and not for the best outlook. So this color is quite white. I don't know what happened, but I don't really like that. I can put in an elastic, but on the other side, the upside of a wider color is that it doesn't sit on my neck all that much and it doesn't itch. I'm really sensitive for some yarns. For itching, I have not been using mohair at all, basically. Because of that, I have one mohair sweater, which is this sweater, the first one, but I feel like I can finally accept that a little bit more. I'm getting used to wool. This, by the way, haven't said this is the Lyon sweater by Petiteknit, knitted in Drops Daisy. And Drops Daisy is 100% non-superwash merino. It's a really soft yarn, so this is the coziest sweater that I have made. Maybe the coziest sweater that I own. I love how this looks, how this fits. I mean, the pattern. I hate the yarn, aside from how soft it is, because just quick yarn review in here. Look at that billing, and because it's striped, you can see it really well, and from like the top, when I look at it, it doesn't look pretty. Anyways, the yarn of this sweater, let's go back to that. This is Filcolana Peruvian, so it's 100% Peruvian wool. I feel like it's a bit the same thickness as Sandnes Garn Peer Gynt, which is more rustic. This is a little bit softer. And last year I really liked this yarn. I have made a slip over with this yarn, a pink yarn, and I really wanted to use that yarn up. So I ordered it, but didn't know the color code, and I ended up ordering the wrong pink color, so I made this sweater out of that. I do like this raspberry pink on me. but I do have to say I wear this sweater, I've worn it quite a bit. I don't really love how this holds up. I mean, especially here at the bottom of the sleeve, you can see the pilling the best. And on the body, it isn't really that bad, but I feel like it's getting scruffy a little bit. It definitely needs a deep pill, but I have done that a couple of times. And especially here with the textured part, it's getting squished, and I won't say it is felting, but it's not that round anymore, the threads. It's getting a little bit flatter and scruffier, just my opinion. So unfortunately, I think I'm stepping away from this yarn. I loved it last year, but now that I've worn this a couple of times, I don't really anymore. I think it will still be great for a gift, for maybe a hat. I think it's a DK weight yarn, but it feels like a thicker DK, maybe a worsted even, like Peargint. And I have made a cardigan last year, so I'm not showing it to you today, but it's with Peruvian held together with the Rico Make It Tweeds, which doesn't add any thickness, but it is still knitted together, and I think that holds up better. And I wear that so much, and it does need a deep pill, but I've worn it a lot before it needs that. So I do wear this. I think this is comfortable, cozy, just a really oversized sweater. But as you can see, it is really, really wide. I don't really want it anymore. I like oversized. I like this, but this feels a little bit more manageable. Not that I'm drowning in the sweater, and I feel like I drown a little bit. So that's all for the first finished object of this year. Future me needs to refold this again later. Then we're going to the Elisabeth blouse by Petiteknit, and you will see probably my favorite designer is Petiteknit, and I know there is some controversy maybe around her not being all that size inclusive always, but I feel like her patterns are so well written, and her newest designs, like from the last year, 2 years, are really, I think, are size inclusive. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but what I've made so far, I enjoy how well written the pattern is. I know it will fit me. I know it is well constructed, and I like to re-knit some things. Anyways, this is such a cool sweater. I love how this looks on. As you can see, you have the V-neck and this collar. Then it is a raglan sweater, and the rest is really basic and not all that long ribbing. So you start working the collar, you cast on, and you knit both of those sides. So this is double, and then you knit that together. You divide the stitches to a raglan, do some German short rows, I believe. Then if you have the length for the V around here, around this bit for the yoke, because the raglan normally goes in round, but for cardigan it is back and forth a little bit. Then you do this double knitted edge on both sides. I really love this construction, and that it's seamless almost from here. And after that you join it in a round, you split for sleeves, and then it sounds like a piece of cake if you explain it like this, but this is quite a bit of work. But like I said, I really love how this looks. One thing I do have to say is that the collar is really floppy, and with the weight of the garment, I sometimes feel like it gets dragged on my back, lower on my back. How do you say that? I don't know. It doesn't stay put all that well. So I really need to retuck the front to have the V like here and not up there, and the collar. But I really do love to wear this. So this is me wearing it. I just when I just filmed this shot, I love how this looks. I love the color on me. It's really cool. I knew I wanted to reknit this, and I've already started reknitting a second version of this one. So you know, I love this pattern. One thing I don't really love though is the yarn, unfortunately. This is Filcolana Pernilla, so it is a sport weight yarn of the Peruvian highland wool. It feels basically the same. And I think I've reached the point, I've worn it quite a bit. It's starting to look, I think, ugly. It's starting to look bad. So I haven't depilled this since last time wearing it, but I feel like I depill this every time I wear this. So it's almost as bad as this Lyon sweater. So this is how the sleeve looks like. So I love the stitch definition over here, but you can see all those bubbles, and some of them are bigger than others. I'm sorry, my camera isn't all that great. I'm filming on my phone. But it's the sleeves, but also in the front, especially down here. And usually I brush it with like a wool comb, because I like the idea of not like cutting the pills away, but brushing them out. I do that most of the times. Maybe soon I will do the depilling machine thingy. But it looks like this every time I wear this, and I really hate that. I'm so bummed about this, but this is a yarn I'm going to discontinue for myself. I don't want to knit this with this anymore, and to be the result. So the next one I'm knitting on, and I have just started with the color. I'm knitting for Olive Merino, held together with knitting for Olive mohair. Because it has the V-neck, the mohair won't be up here on my neckline. And usually, but I was too lazy for these try-on shots, usually I wear a high neck top underneath this and then like cute necklaces. I love how that looks, so I think that will be fine with the mohair. And hopefully I will get a fabric that just doesn't pill. And for me, that's worth it. That's one of the reasons I want to invest a little bit more in my yarn, because if this is the result from more affordable yarn, then I think I want to leave that in 2024 and for the next year do that a little bit different and see how that feels. So I will be wearing this. I really need to depill this, and then I can wear this without doing that first. And if I really don't like wearing this, I want another sweater in this color, because this color just, yeah, love it. Next, and I think I'm rambling a lot, but I hope you enjoy. Next, one of my, maybe the most successful knit of this year is my storm sweater. And by Petiteknit, it is an all over textured sweater, because I love me some solid color but textured sweaters. I love this so much. I've talked about this a lot because I wear this a lot in my videos, I feel like. So you have these sections, if you don't know, of different textured, but everything is done with knits and purls. So it is, again, quite an easy sweater to do. It's easier than the Ingrid sweater if you want to compare those two. It is a drop shoulder sweater. So again, you have that trapezium shape, the increases along this edge, but you do that while at the same time doing these panels. And all these panels are separated with garter stitch edge, some shaping under the armpits, you pick up stitches for the shoulders, some shaping around the neckline, you join under the arms, and then you do the textures. I just love how, after some experience with knitting and garments and constructions, you can understand how it is made. I love that. So this is a really oversized version. Oh, by the way, I didn't tell you that, but the Elisabeth blouse, I knitted in the size extra large. So I wanted a more oversized look. So, you know. This, I knit it in size medium because, and I've said that multiple times before, the medium and the large basically are the same except for the length. But the positive ease, and you can look that up on Ravelry, the positive ease for both sizes are the same. So I knitted medium just because I'm really short and I don't need the length, and I've shortened it still. I knitted this on 3.5mm needles. I knitted this in Sandnes Garn Double Sunday, which I bought in Copenhagen, by the way, last year. Well, that was in 2023. And I do love how this yarn holds up. I think it's better than the Peruvian. There is some pilling, as you can see, but that is expected. So this is a merino wool. It's nice and soft, but I think for merino it holds up quite well. There is some fluffiness coming, and that's the pilling, but I don't mind it as much with this. But maybe like in this pattern, the pilling almost looks like a part of the texture. So I really do need to depill this soon, but I like this. I want to try the Knitting for Olive Heavy Merino and see which DK weight or DK yarn I like more. But I would work with this again. Love this color. Quite a neutral green. What have I said about this? It blocked really nice. It is quite big and oversized, but what I like is that it cinches in a little bit with the ribbing on the bottom, so it sits on my hips. But I do like how this feels. So here's the clip of me wearing it. Like I said, most successful knit of this year. I just get so many compliments on this. I love how this fits, love how this feels. Yeah, favorite make of this year, without a doubt. I should be wearing this more, but I have a lot to wear, so that's the problem. I think my gauge is a little bit off. It is bigger, especially the row gauge. So I have shortened it quite a bit. I think I did 2 repeats less, maybe. Don't know anymore. Yeah. Anyways, would make again. I have made another stormy sweater, will be coming soon. And still I think I would make it again because I love how simple but interesting this pattern is, like this project. Then I can't show you, my first accessory of the year were mittens, because with moving I'm able to go to more work on bike and I needed some mittens. So I knitted these mittens. I put in a picture here. These are the world's simplest mittens by Tynn Knits. I believe this is a free pattern from Ravelry, so you can look that up, but it's a really basic mitten with the thumb and the ribbing. So the lighter pink for the cuff is the pink that I originally used, and a darker pink is the pink from my sweater number 18. So it's all Filcolana Peruvian highland wool. I knitted adult size small, and I knitted it on 3mm needles, so it is quite dense. And the reason I can't show you anymore is because I lost one, and I don't really know where I left the other one, but well, it's trash basically. So they were looking really nasty and ugly because I've used them really a lot with cycling, but also like tucking them in the pockets of my jackets and coats. So the fabric was really looking like disgusting almost. It was felting, but at the same time there was this layer of fluff on top of it. So it really, you could really see that I was worn a lot, and also at the thumb here there was a little hole. So I'm not really that bummed that I'm not able to wear them. Like, I am bummed, I miss them. Could be warmer though. So I really need to make a new pair of mittens, and I'm saying that for the last month and a half, and haven't been able. I have so many projects on my needles and on my to knit list that they're not on top of my to knit list. I have some store-bought mittens, But I did like knitting these, like knitting mittens, because they're so fast. In a weekend I can easily have a pair of mittens ready. Maybe next time I will use some mohair for a little bit warmer feel, or maybe color work. I would like to knit the Celeste mittens by Petiteknit, just for a simple color work version maybe. So that was a really successful knit because I got a lot of use out of them. Didn't like how they looked in the end, but I think that will happen with every yarn if you're using it that much and that heavily, because there's a lot of friction on like this, the handles of the steer. You have the steering wheel in the car, and on the bicycle you have, I don't know, a steer. Next. Another accessory that I am able to show you is a hat. So this is the weekend hat by Petiteknit. I'm sorry, this is I think the most successful pattern that I have made, because I have made 3 weekend hats this year, and I have 2 more on my needles right now. So it is an all over ribbed hat, really easy. So you make a long tube, but as you can see there are some lines. So you do some double knitting to make the fold sit nice and tidy. So it's a double folded. You have 3 layers for the brim. And I do love pink. This was some stash I had in yarn, but this is not really successful knit. I do wear this quite a bit because I don't have many hats, so I really need one at the moment. But I don't love how this turns out, and I think you can see that already. I made it too small, and not the width-wise. Width-wise is fine, and that's what I like about the weekend hat, because it is ribbed, it's stretchy, but this yarn isn't really stretchy. The yarn is Cocept by Katia and Cotton Merino, Cocept by Katia mohair cotton. So 70% cotton, 30% mohair. Strange combination, bought it once in a sale at my local yarn fair. But as you can see, it's not stretchy anymore. Maybe because it's been in the rain. But I think I do love how this looks. It still looks fine over here. Just the fold really isn't that beautiful. And I made it too short. So I think the brim is too short, but also the top. I mean, it is a hat you can wear like this. And then I feel like a hipster going around town in I don't know, Austin, Texas. But for here, for the weather, I need it like practical. So I do think it is fine like this, but I have a scarf on my coat. I don't know, it's not warm enough. Right now I feel like it's fine, but the pattern actually calls for a little bit of like a tip over here. So right now I'm mindful of making just the length for the pattern. So this does get some wear. I think it is a little bit too big, but it has lost all the stretch. So that's why. So I'm going to wear this until it's ugly and then just de-stash it, let's say that. But I am working on another weekend hat for myself right now, but that is a finished object for next year or this year. I don't know. If I knitted a size small, 3.25 millimeter needles. Won't use this yarn again, but the pattern, love the pattern, will totally recommend it. And I will talk about some more. Then, my only pair of socks that I have finished this year. And I've worked on these, I feel like in springtime. And these are my first colorwork project ever. And this year has been the year of colorwork for me. So, it is a free pattern on Ravelry. It is the Easy Peasy Socks by Karolina Adamczyck. But the Easy Peasy socks. I did a 2x2 ribbing, and I think German twisted cast on because it's really wide. And then it's a 2 colorwork piece, but the contrast color is a hand-dyed yarn. As you can see, it fades a little bit. The contrast color is by MYPZ, it's a Dutch hand dyer, and the green color is Lang Yarn Super Soxxx. So I knitted the size medium. It looks really small, and I think the pattern calls for a shorter foot or leg portion, but I have worn this and you can see that. So here is the fluff present, and it is felting already, but that's fine with the socks. You want this to be sturdy, and I loved making these, especially at first. I was really hooked for the color work, because I do like color work. This is the inside, so it's nice and tidy. And I think there are some pieces where you need to catch floats, or don't you? I don't think you need to catch floats. So it is a really beginner friendly color work pattern. That's why I chose it. A friend of mine has made a pair of socks with this pattern. I do recommend it. Don't really love the foot of it, but if you wear it, you're not be able to see this. So I have worn these quite a bit. I like them in my Birkenstock Bostons, and then you can see like this part. I love that. But I experienced second sock syndrome so badly. It's a little bit embarrassing. So my only pair of finished socks, do enjoy them. And I will show them in the end. I have 2 pairs of socks still on needles or in hibernation mode, because I have the second sock syndrome. I hate finishing the second sock. So I've decided socks are really not my thing. Another intentions. Don't really make socks anymore. Just finish what I have on my needles, and only on holiday. Yes. Next. Okay. Another sweater. And this is quite a special one, because this is a heavily modified Monday sweater by Petiteknit. And I've made a whole video about just this sweater and the knitting process of it. Because the Monday sweater is a DK weight raglan sweater, and I've made it in fingering weight. So my gauge is completely different, and I didn't use science, just a little bit of math and more trying out. But this is my Monday sweater. So it is a beautiful sweater. I love that the fabric is nice and thin, so it's more of a springtimey sweater. The Monday sweater is by Petiteknit. I have made that one before, so I knew I wanted to recreate it. The yarn is hand-dyed yarn from my friend Vem from the Mindfulcreators. It is the Flowy fingering, I think. Yeah, it's a Flowy fingering in Field of Flowers. So I did use helical knitting for this, because it is hand-dyed and it has all these specks of pinks and more of a purple, a little bit of blue in there as well. I love this yarn still. I like how it feels. I haven't worn it all that much, so the yarn still looks pretty good, but that's just because it doesn't get that much wear. So here's the clip of me wearing it, and as you can see, it is really not that oversized as my usual sweaters. And maybe that is one of the reasons that I don't really end up wearing this. I feel like it's a little bit too, I want to say tight fitting, but it's not tight fitting. But for me, it feels like a little bit too small, a little bit too high up under my arms. I don't like that. So yeah, I like how it turned out. I do get compliments on this. I love the yarn, but it's just not my most successful sweater. So I knitted it on 3mm needles. I used less than 3 skeins. So it is possible with 3 skeins of hand-dyed yarn to make a full sweater. And you don't need mohair or anything like that, because I didn't want to do the lento sweater again. So I like how it turned out, and I wanted about 8 to 10 centimeters of positive ease. I managed to get that, and now it isn't okay. It's okay. Maybe this spring I will get some more wear out of this, or when the summer is far away and I want some light color. Also, it's not the most flattering color on me. Maybe that's something that has to do with it as well. But I enjoy the Monday sweater. Maybe would make again, because it's an easy, simple raglan, but it does have some short row shaping. So the shaping is really nice. And I am planning to work with hand-dyed DK weight yarn for a sweater. So I'm thinking about the Monday sweater, because helical knitting is necessary when you're working with hand-dyed yarn. So you alternate skeins and you don't get pooling as much. And I think it worked out great. Then we're into summer knits. So my second, I want to say most successful project, because I love how this turned out, is my Camisole number 9. And it's in the popular color of this moment. It is a knitting for Olive Merino in Bordeaux. So I feel like this is the most popular color of this winter. So I do need to wear this as a layering piece soon. But this is a pattern by my favorite things knitwear. And as you can see, it's a really beautiful tank top. The finishing is stunning. It's really clean looking and polished, and I just love this. I fell in love with the yarn, the merino from Knitting for Olive. I haven't worn it a lot, maybe a handful of times, because when it is really hot outside, I don't want to wear anything knitted. I want something that can be thrown in a washing machine and something flowy. So I was saying to myself, this is a layering piece for the winter time. Haven't done that. This is my reminder. Claudia, wear this. But I just love how this looks. So it's a double folded edge everywhere, and then you have this like braided kind of detail going all around. I knitted this on 2.5mm needles, so it was quite an well, you have the same amount of stitches if you do it on 3 or 2.5mm, but this turned out perfect. So it's quite a denser fabric that I created. I knit it quite tight, but I love how it looks and how it feels. It still has a drape, but it looks almost store-bought. I hated doing the edges on this one because the yarn is so dark. I really had trouble with picking up stitches or sewing it down. Sewing it down was like hell, and you do that all 4 edges on this side, you do it on the inside. But I do love how this feels. I knitted a size large and just I wrote down love it. I think this is perfect. It deserves so much more love, and this one inspired me to make more of these. And I do have some yarn laying around, a couple of sets of yarn for these kind of tops. So yeah, I think this is perfect. The only thing is it is not really bra friendly for my type of bra. So here is it with me wearing it. It's just the shaping with the straps is so flattering, and I love how this looks, but I can't wear this bra with this if I want to wear this as a summer top. For a layering piece, it's fine, of course. And I like how snug it fits in around my waist, about my stomach. It's just perfect. And that's the merino, that's the wool part. It has some memory, and I would totally knit this again in the same yarn. I just know this was quite some work. And a top part, because you start at the front straps and you join them with all the shaping, as you can see in the shaping here under the arm. Then you pick up the stitches, or I think maybe it's with provisional cast on. You do the back straps with the shaping, the longer portion, and over here, and then you join it around. And to be honest, the start is really quick because those straps are really small and tiny. So you get to this part really easy. And then back and forth. I don't really hate purling, but purling on 2.5mm needles while knitting tight isn't really that fun for my hands and my fingers. And in the end, the long tube that was a little bit of a struggle, but yeah, love it. Then next, a little bit of a questionable knit. This is the Poppy Tea by Petiteknit. First, I love the color. You know I love color. I'm in the winter season color palette, so I suit bright colors. Bright colors or colors in general suit me the best. Do love the color. So this is a contiguous construction like the Lyon sweater, and I do really enjoy knitting that. So you start at the back for a really short portion and you do some increases over here, and I believe you do the shoulder bit. So you go to the front and then you pick up stitches for the shoulder. And in the end, it is a raglan. As you can see from here on, it is a raglan. I'm not good at explaining this because it has been a while since I knitted this or this type of construction. But I did enjoy it because there's a little bit more of diversity in the beginning. Just a 1x1 ribbed neckline and at the cuff and under the arm. Doesn't look as neat as the Camisole number 9, but it's way quicker. And the reason why I think this is a questionable finished object is mostly because of the yarn. I used Novita woolly wood. Use this yarn again, but I forgot how much this grows. So the Novita woolly wood is, I believe, 70% tencel and 30% merino. But tencel is a plant-based fiber and that grows a lot, like cotton. And that's what happened. And the yoke is now so low, and I don't really like that look for a t-shirt. But here's the clip of me wearing it, and I do have to say, when I just had it on, I was like, it doesn't look that bad. In my head, it didn't turn out how I wanted it. It fit great before blocking and after blocking. It just dropped down so low. And for a t-shirt and then the sleeve, I don't really love that. And the length of the sleeve is a little bit too long, I feel like. So it is quite a heavy t-shirt. And I think I came to the conclusion this year that knitted tees are maybe not my thing. Or I need such a light fabric that's easy and breezy, because a cotton t-shirt is always cooler than a knitted tee. So when will I wear this? I don't know, because when it's cold enough to wear something knitted, I want my whole arms covered. I don't like exposed skin when it's cold. I don't like that. So yeah, I do like this pattern, but I think the pattern is written for a little bit of a strange weight, because I think this is written for Cardiff cashmere, and most of the time it is substituted for more of a sport weight yarn, but sport weight yarn is quite rare. So I don't know what I would do next if I want to make this pattern again. Like, I would want to make it again, but maybe in fingering weight yarn or the Knitting for Olive Cotton Merino, but that's a really thin fingering weight. Do I want to hold that double, but doesn't that get thick and dense and warm as well? I don't know. So yeah, I have worn this maybe once to a yarn fair. I think I did that, but other than that, I don't know how much wear I'm going to get out of this. So that's a little bit of a bummer. I knitted a size large, by the way, because I do love the oversized fit on 3.5mm needles. And also, if you followed me, this yarn bled so much with blocking. Like, my whole bucket was full of bright pink water after blocking this. So That scared me a little bit, especially for like, if I wear this and I get sweaty or it rains, will this stain my jeans? Not going to use that yarn again. Can't recommend it, unfortunately. Then, speaking of yarn, this yarn is stunning. Another beautiful color. This is Noro Sonata yarn. And I bought this yarn 2 years ago at a yarn fair. I fell in love with the yarn and the color and hesitated for 1.5 years about how to use it. So I finally knitted a top because I only had 2 skeins. Strange amount, but it was expensive, so I only bought 2 skeins. And I made the Sailor Swift top by Kutovakika. So it is a tank top, and the Sailor Swift top actually is a stripe top. Most of the time you see it in white base with navy thin stripes. Love that look, but of course you can do it in one solid color. And as you can see, the yarn, it looks beautiful. There is some striping going on, and that's just the yarn. Didn't do helical knitting or anything. I just wanted the yarn to speak for itself. And the Noro Sonata is a mix of cotton, silk, a little bit of polyamide, and maybe wool. I'm not sure anymore. You should look it up. But it feels beautiful, especially after blocking. It's really soft, and you can feel that there's silk in it because it feels a little bit silky. And this pattern I don't love as much as the Camisole number 9, but it's way quicker to knit. I knitted this on 3mm needles. So again, quite a dense fabric, but I do love how the fabric turned out for this yarn. You start at the back, and I don't know if you can see that, but the top of the back, there is no shaping. So it's straight ahead for a long time, and then there is some shaping under the arm a little bit. Then you pick up stitches, do some shaping for the neckline, under the arms again, and join in around. And all the finishings are with I-cord edges. And Kutovakika does have a tutorial of this top on her YouTube channel, so she explains every step. So you can look that up. So I-cord edges, and over here as well, those aren't as visible. Like how this looks, and here I did a ribbing for a little bit more stretch. I don't know if that's in the pattern as well, but most of the time I tuck everything in my jeans because I'm a millennial. I still love doing that. So I wanted to make a top that is a little bit quicker, and the I-cord edges are quick to do if you do them on 3mm needles. So I do like some things about this top. I like the color. I haven't worn this, to be honest. I don't really love the fit. So here it is. I don't think it's the most flattering fit. It is bra friendly because the straps are wider, but with the wider straps, I think it is a little bit more, I want to say mumsy. It is just not that cool Insta Pinterest girl vibe. It's just not the most flattering for my body, at least. Doesn't really matter. But again, if it's really hot, I want something that I'm able to throw in the washing machine. So I think this will be more of a layering piece. So I'm in the works with making cardigans, so I can wear this more. But it's so soft. I love the fabric. So yeah, I don't know if I would make the pattern again. I thought about making it with stripes, and maybe it feels a little bit flattering with the stripes again, but don't know anymore. The yarn is lovely, but I won't buy it again just because I don't like the feeling of having so special yarn in my stash that I'm afraid to use it. Then oh my god. We have done 10 projects. We're halfway through. I'm going to speed up a little bit. My Barbroe top. This is the second one that I have knitted, but I only did one this year. So the Barbroe top is an all over lace pattern by Knitting for Olive. You have the scalloped edge and then a lace repeat, which looks more complicated than it really is. The complicated part is when you split, because it's a bottom up, when you split this part for the front and the back. I think that's the most difficult part, and a little bit here on top. But the rest, the lace repeat, is really addictive. Hence, I've made 2 of them. And I did modify this one because the original pattern has quite a scooped low neckline in the front and in the back. And I raised mine up with a couple of repeats, maybe 4, and in the back also 4. So now it is a nice high up top, and I can also wear this the other way around, and it's even higher up. I like tops that are just high around my collarbone. I think they're so pretty. So that's what I did. And I have knitted this in yarn, hand-dyed yarn from my friend Fem from the Mindfulcreators. This is the Flowy fingering in Spring Flame. And I just fell in love with this color. That's bright pink orangey. To be honest, right now in this lighting, it doesn't really flatter me, I feel like. But in summertime, when my arms are a little bit like tanned, I can wear this. I can put this off. So this is size large on 3mm needles. And I do recommend this, and I also recommend modifying it. So here it is on. Again, it's not really bra friendly. And with trying it on just now, I was too lazy to wear a different color bra because, well, obviously black isn't the best color to put under this. But like I said, I was a little bit too lazy. But you can still see the effect. So that's the only downside to an all lace top, because it is more see-through. But I love how dainty and cute and beautiful this has turned out. It's so romantic. You also have the Barbroe blouse, which is stunning. And I have bought yarn for that, but now I'm questioning about making that. Maybe I will make something else with that yarn. So that was a summer top. I knitted this quite fast because I think I was in Spain in the summertime for a little bit, for more than a week, and I knitted a week almost non-stop on this, and that went by quite fast. And it's nice and small and portable project. So for the body, it's really easy to do. Then my second tee that I knitted, and it's also a fill. It's also because of the yarn. I need to make better yarn choices, people. It is tee number 1 by my favorite things knitwear. So it has a beautiful saddle shoulder construction. It was the first time doing that. Liked doing that. So you start with these rectangular, well, the fold is quite heavy, these pieces, and you pick up stitches along the front and the back, and there are some shaping over here, and this just goes smoothly. Again, it's been a while since I knitted this, so it's hard to explain the construction, but I love this detail on the top. It's also on her, is it sweater number 26 or so? I love, and jacket number 9, cardigan number, I forget the numbers, but her line with all these saddle shoulders, I love how cool and modern it looks. But I don't like how this turned out. As you can see, it's really, really boxy. The sleeves are, well, basically square. And I did the whole thing with the double folded edge and that braided detail because I love how this looks. This so clean, so beautiful. On the bottom I did ribbing because I didn't have enough yarn for more, so it's really cropped. And the problem with this is the yarn. This is Sandnes, not Sandnes Garn, this is Kambgarn, and it's a 100% non-superwash. It is a merino, I think. It is a wool. It is wool, not merino. It's itchy, so I hate the feeling around my neckline, and this is really high up. It is not stretchy, not really, especially here. And it's itchy, it's stiff. My sleeves just stand out. It doesn't have the drape that it needs, so this is a fail. Won't be wearing this, so this can go to charity, I think. Most of the time, if I don't wear my knits, I'm quite good with destashing it, and most of the time I just bring it to charity or yeah, like a charity shop. And hopefully someone else can enjoy this. I do like the color. Maybe this year I will make something in lilac again, because I'm obsessed with lilac at the moment. This is me wearing it. It doesn't seem all that bad. It's too cropped. I don't love the sleeves. But then combined with the itchiness means I'm not able to wear this. So yeah, I do like the pattern. So I want to make it again. Maybe this one, as if I do want to have a knitted tee, maybe I will make one. Then I want a more flowy fabric. Don't know what yarn I need to use, but maybe I need to browse Ravelry for a long time. Then another camisole number 9. This one I made in the summer. I was on holiday in Thailand for 3 weeks, almost 3 weeks, 2.5 weeks, I don't know. And I made this. So it's a perfect small backpack project. I had loads of time to knit. And like I said, socks aren't really my thing. I love this more. So the exact same top, but this one I made in Sandnes Garn Tynn. I had that lying around. I love this raspberry kind of color on me. And Tynn is a mix of linen and, is it linen and cotton? I don't know. So it is soft, but it doesn't hold memory. It grows with blocking, and when I wear this you can see that it doesn't hug my waist and my stomach like the other one does. This one is more flowy. So there are some preference or up and down sides on both yarns. I love the other one more, but this one is better suitable for warm weather. And I did have the yarn lying around, wanted to use it in a pattern that probably can handle that it doesn't have any memory. So I expect this to grow with wear, but I think that doesn't really matter. Then it's a nice flowy top for tucking in a skirt or something like that. So not my last camisole number 9, I think. But I won't repurchase Tynn again, I think. Because I am thinking more about yarn, and I think a little bit of wool in it is necessary for that memory. And then we have done all the summer tops. We're now back in September-ish. So I have a couple of sweaters to go. The next sweater, and I'm unfortunately not able to show it, but it's a sweater I knitted for my dad. So I have talked about that a lot in my videos because I've worked on it a couple of months. It's the Hanstholm sweater by Petiteknit. It is a really simple raglan construction with German short rows for the shaping. And he chose the pattern basically, or I selected a couple of them and asked what he would like. And he would like a really simple, clean look. I wanted to knit it in Peer Gynt, Sandnes Garn Peer Gynt. The pattern calls for that. And also because I love Peer Gynt. It's nice quality, wears quite well. And I just feel like a little bit more of a rustic yarn is suitable for a men's sweater. So I knitted it and it turned out beautiful. He wore it at Christmas and he was really proud, like showing it off. And I didn't see it at first because it doesn't really look that handmade, which is a compliment to myself. But yeah, that's a really successful. I hope I have a clip or a photo of or something over here. So it's a beautiful blue grayish color, a little bit of marl, which makes it more interesting and super wearable. I made a size large on 4.5 no, size large on 3mm needles. The pattern calls for 3.5, which I do think it's a really small needle size for Peer Gynt. Peer Gynt has 91 meters, I think, or 90 meters per skein, so it is more of a worsted weight. And I was knitting looser, so I went down in a size to get the gauge, 3mm needles, size large. But I do remember ripping out the yoke up, want I was about this much into the body, and then he tried it on and it was too big. So I ripped it out and stopped the yoke higher up, I believe. And now it fits great, but it's just with men, like younger men have broader wider shoulders, but men that are getting a little bit older, they shrink in their shoulder part a little bit. So I wanted to have this fit, and that's the beauty of handmade garments and the beauty of a raglan sweater. You can modify that more easily than a drop shoulder, because a drop shoulder you can only try on after you've joined in around, and you can't just shorten it. So I would totally recommend this. Maybe next time I want to make something in a little bit of a lighter weight fabric, because it is really hot. And like Petiteknit is a Danish brand, and there the weather is colder than here in the Netherlands, and you don't really need that thick of a sweater indoors. So maybe next time I want to do a little bit more of a DK weight instead of a worsted weight. But I love how it looks, I love how it feels. Success. Then my next fill. And I really bumped about this, because this took me like some, well, not blood, but sweat and tears. Yeah, definitely. So it's the Vienna blouse by Sandnes Garn. Loved the look of this pattern. When I saw this for the first time, I don't know if it was on Ravelry or Instagram, but it is this really cute, trendy thing with the peplum and the 3 bows. So I wanted to make this. Pattern calls for 2 strands of mohair held together. I don't like mohair, so I swatched the yarn. Wasn't a great choice. I don't think that's the only problem with this. I used the Istex Kambgarn again, bought in a sale, fill, because it is a little bit too stiff. And I used a bigger needle. I knitted this on 4.5mm needles, and I hoped that would help with the drape, but it still is a little bit too dense. And it's not it. So you start in the back for this sweater, and there is some shaping. There is some short row shaping around this teeny tiny shoulder, saddle shoulder thingy. There is some shaping over here, as you can see. And that makes the dip in the neckline. But the front is as high as the back. It's just that the sides are different heights. Then there is some shaping under the arm. And then it's a cardigan. So it's a lot of up and down. And then you cast off and pick up stitches for the peplum. And the peplum has, I don't know, 500 stitches or something like that. It was a pain to knit this back and forth. Like I said, I don't mind purling. I love working on cardigans, but this wasn't as much fun anymore in the end. So you do some I-cord edges around here for the sides, but also for the neck is an I-cord edge, and you have these I-cord ties. And on the bottom, I chose the double folded edge like my T number 1, because I do love how that looks. But I was playing yarn chicken. I think the peplum is long enough. Well, it hits a nice point. But I've talked about this in the video where I showed this as my finished object. I have a really short torso. I'm 160 centimeters. Don't know what it is in American thingies. But my back, my torso is really short. So my waist is around here. So the part between my armpit and my waist is quite short, and then my waist is here and my hips are already here. So I don't really have that much room to play with. And also, if you look at my back and my waist is around here, I feel like sometimes it feels like I'm making kids' clothes. Like the cropped, like child's clothing. So here it is on, and it's mostly probably in my head. I like how it looks from the front, but from the side and the back, I just don't like it. I think it needs a way drapier fabric. That's on me, but I'm not going to remake this. Definitely not. So this will go to charity once I feel less guilt about having this in my wardrobe properly. But I'm not going to wear this, echt, for sure. Such a waste of my time. Not necessarily a waste of yarn. I'm not going to reclaim the yarn. I know some people frog it, but this again is one of those sale hunts, or when I go crazy around a good yarn sale. But in the end, I almost always regret that, because that's not my first yarn choice. I do have some Kambgarn left in a dark cream color, and I was thinking about making a slip over with that. So maybe I will still do that, because a slip over can means that it can be a little bit of a stiffer fabric. Maybe next year, because I'm not going to knit this winter. Maybe next year I won't even do that and just destash the yarn. I don't know. Next, another storm sweater. And I wanted to make something in this butter yellow ever since it became a trendy color. I know it's not a trendy color right now anymore. It's not really a winter color, but sometimes you need to bring some light in your life. And what better way than with a bright colored knit? I just love the color. So again, the storm sweater by Petiteknit in a size medium. I knitted this on needle size 4, because during the year I began knitting tighter. I was a really loose knitter, but the downside from knitting loosely is the stitch definition isn't always that great. Had so much trouble with getting gauge, so now I did knit a lot tighter, sometimes even too tight. I don't like that. So the stitch definition on this one is stunning. It is really crisp and clear, and it's also a lot smaller than the first one. I have compared this before. Maybe I can show you this portion versus, I don't know, where is it, this. This isn't all that obvious right now, but I do feel like this is a lot more open, a lot wider than this one. You can see it over here in those diamond shapes. It isn't really that obvious, but this feels drapier than this one because this is knitted tighter. The yarn is Drops Flora held double, so it's a blend of wool and a little bit of alpaca, I believe. And I do love Drops Lima and Flora. Those are my favorite yarns from Drops. But I'm promising myself I'm not going to use Drops yarn for a garment anymore. And not for myself at least. Because this sweater, and I've finished this in early December, maybe end of November. I've worn it a couple of times and it has felted under the arm. This is just completely felted. So that's really quick. I do have to say, because I have knitted this tighter and the stitch definition is great, my gauge is a little bit too small, so it didn't turn out as big as I was wanting to. And also it's higher up under my armpit than I normally like, because I don't like having the wool in my sweat area and it's getting sweaty. And this is because, like an example, why. So here it is on. I wore this yesterday with my knitting friends and they loved this sweater and they think it's really cute. It looks good. So I really need to hear that to wear it more. Because I want a little bit more oversized, a little bit of a looser fit around the shoulder. And it's a little bit too cropped for me. But I'm going to wear this, not going to fix all that because I don't think the yarn is worth it. To be honest, I think this has maybe 1 or 2 winters left of wear. I want to wear this regularly and then I think the yarn is done. Just because of the ugly felting over here. So, another yarn lesson. Then next, I have a couple of small things. That was my last sweater that I made this year. I made an accessory, an extra one, but it took a really long time to finish this. I started this in the springtime, I think. This is the Netty Scarf by Lily Kate Makes. And once I saw this pattern, I fell in love because it is an open lace scarf and it looks so, I love these type of modern scarves or modern garment lace thingies. Last year I made the Look at My Holes by James and Watts. Not wearable at all, but love the look. So it is a triangle scarf, or it has more of like a boomerang shape. So this is what it looks like. Also cute like this, but hey, if you wear this in the Netherlands, you're going to get looked at. I don't live in Amsterdam, so I don't wear this basically, but it was fun to knit. Maybe it's okay as like a scarf with my trench coat for a nice bit of pink. And I do love the pattern. It was sometimes a little bit hard to knit because it's not really an easy lace pattern with also the increases. The yarn is yarn stash from my yarn from my stash that I had. It's a mix of bamboo and cotton, I think, maybe a little bit of wool or polyamide. It's Go Handmade soft bamboo double, so it's a really soft yarn because a large portion is bamboo, won't repurchase. And I love her sample with the small one and then the 2 tones. She has like one side I think is pink and one side is orange. Love that. But for that I need some more stash yarn or mini skeins, and I haven't done that before. Maybe this spring I will do that. This summer, make the smaller version and then half pink, half orange, or half pink and half red. I love that color combo. So yeah, that's the only scarf that I knitted. And then 2 weekend hats that I'm not able to show. Those were gift knits. So I made a weekend hat for my brother in Sandnes Garn Tynn Peer Gynt in a brown color. I do have the yarn here. It's on a project, but it's this brown color, just a neutral. I think that suits everyone. And I love Peer Gynt and I love Tynn Peer Gynt. It's a little bit more rustic, a little bit toothier. I just love that. So held double, and I made a size medium on 3.5mm needles. Love how that turned out. If I can, I will show you a picture here, but I know I've only taken a picture in the dark, so you're not able to see the color. And my boyfriend liked that hat so much, so I made another one for him as well. I do have that yarn here also, bear with. Because I also made that with Sandnes Garn Tynn Peer Gynt, but then in a dark navy color. And I can tell it's getting dark outside. I need to hurry up because it doesn't show the yarn color well anymore. But here's a photo. I know I have a good photo of that. He loves this. He loves that it's a little bit more rustic. It's more heavy duty because he is wearing that a lot right now. He is the type of person that drags it down really low in his neck because he doesn't wear scarves. So it can be a little bit better looking, to be honest. But hey, he loves it, he's wearing it. So I'm really happy. So yeah, those are not my last weekend hats because it is such a great gift knit. Everyone fits that. And also fun fact about that pattern, I believe the small and the medium and maybe the largest kid size are basically the same. Only the height difference, but because it's so stretchy, because of the ribbing, everyone can fit that. Then another gift knit, and we're at number 20. So I rushed through the last bit, but I think the most exciting knits were in the first half of the year, to be honest, except for the hats, those two. But I also made a Maxine hot water bottle cover. I made it for my sister-in-law and she loved the color purple and lilac, so I browsed through my yarn stash and this is what I came up with. It's a pattern by Laura Penrose, and as soon as I saw that a couple of months ago, I fell in love. I also like the idea of a hot water bottle, and this has a little bit of that feel from maybe a Nordic kind of sweater. But then it's a really quick knit because I made that version I think in 3 or 4 days, like a couple of sittings. I loved looking for the colors and making a beautiful color scheme, and I think it turned out beautiful. Like, that was a success, and choosing all that colors was like part of my creative brain. Really enjoyed that. So unfortunately I don't owe that, but I do want to make a version for myself with more pink color scheme, of course. But that will have to wait. And it's just, like I said, I love color work. I have started a Christmas sweater, an all over Christmas jumper. That's, how do you say that? Like an ugly Christmas sweater, but then beautiful and retro and beautiful. I said that. But it will be finished next year. So I've been working on color work a lot, and this hot water bottle cover really scratches that itch. It's really fast, but yeah, really fun to do. So I'm making another one as a gift right now, and also I'm going to make more for myself. But I was gifted a small hot water bottle with the yarn. Where is it? Tucked away about behind my mountain of sweaters. So I made this one. So me and my knitting friends did an advent this year again with just small knitting gifts, and 2 of my gifts were these hot water bottle and also the yarn for the cover. So I immediately casted this on, and I think in 2 evenings or 1 maybe it was finished. I can do this really quick. So I really like how cute and cozy this looks. This is such a fun gift knit. Also for a knitter to gift, like make your own, is really cute. I haven't blocked this, but who cares? So yeah, maybe this evening I will fill this up and be cozy and warm. This is the 3 color version. The other one is a 6 color version. And like I said, I'm doing more of these because they're so much fun. So that was my last finished object, actually, this one. Crazy, but I have a lot on my needles right now, but they're not finished. So a couple of honorable mentions, because, well, I have worked on more. I started with my sweet shop blanket a year ago almost. I think on the 24th of January I saw somewhere on my sweet shop blanket by Laura Penrose, and this is a multiple year project, but I do want to mention it here because well, I spent a bit amount of time on this one. So this is where I'm at, not really that far. It is so beautiful. I love this. I just love working on sweaters more. So the main color, it's not really a white, it is marzipan, Filcolana Arvetta and marzipan, I believe. Like, this is whiter. And I wanted a color that's not that dark, that's a little bit softer. And all my contrast colors are knitting for Olive. So this is the knitting for Olive Merino and Bordeaux. Then we have terracotta rose, plum rose, copper, rust, dusty olive, and what's this called? I don't know anymore. Anyways, I've shown you these multiple times in videos. Will be returning next year, and as long as it's not finished, I will mention this in my everything I knit video, because this is also what I knit, but it won't be finished for I think another 2 years maybe, just because I need to have the motivation to work on this, and I don't really mind it. This is a special project for me. And then, like I said, my socks, I do want to show you them, because one pair, I have one sock finished. So this is a sock yarn I bought in Edinburgh. It's West Yorkshire Spinners, and it's a striping yarn. This, I believe, is Lang Yarn Super Socks, and this is thicker yarn. So it looks really small, but I like the colors. And for the second sock, I'm almost ashamed to say that, I'm at the foot. So basically I only have to do like half a foot, like this much, and then the toe, and it's finished. And it's probably at this point since May. Probably May, June, somewhere. And then next is these are the Hibernal socks by Summerlee Knits. And well, it's not easy to show you, but it's a hand-dyed yarn by Lana Grossa, which was in my stash for a long time, and it has a little bit of a fade from purple to eventually bright orange, as you can see. And this has a pattern with faux cables, and on the one hand with this yarn you can't really see it, but on the other hand I like that it's a little bit more intricate. So I'm also at the foot, maybe decreasing a little bit more, but then I'm done. That's the second sock, I think. The first one, I'm almost at the same point. I'm at the point of decreasing. So socks really isn't my thing. I need to finish these up, maybe take them with me when I'm traveling again in a couple of months. I heard something. Crochet hook. Because I do really need to finish these up, and then I don't think I want to start another sock anytime soon. Like I said, maybe on holiday, but I don't like working on socks. I don't prefer them over sweaters, cardigans, hats. I liked knitting on hats. The next honorable mention is my honey clutch by Petiteknit. I don't even have this here at home. It's laying at my boyfriend's place because I want to push myself that when I'm there, I'm knitting on that project. But right now I still bring my Christmas sweater to knit on. So maybe I do have a picture over here, but it's a beautiful little clutch. Wash bag is, this is the honey wash bag, the bigger version. It's beautiful hand-dyed yarn by the Mindfulcreators again, and Wildflower, love that. But I'm so over that project. That stitch is a 4-row repeat and it goes so slow. And I do have the lining, I do have the zipper already. So I think that's on my needles for months now, maybe 4 months now, 3 months. Hopefully it is finished in a couple of months. So I do want to mention that because there are a lot of hours went in that already. And lastly, my Esther jacket, like I said in the beginning of the video, I think, is laying on my blocking mats as we speak. So that was finished yesterday, the 4th of January, but obviously the knitting time, I casted it on in October, I think. So it is knitted in 2.5 months. I think that's really good for that big of a piece. That was also knitted this year, but not a finished object, so I'm not going to show you. So yeah, that is everything that I knit in 2024. I really hope you enjoyed seeing everything. I hope you enjoyed my ramble. If I talk about knitting intentions, if you're still here, what are your knitting intentions? Would like to know that. I talked a lot about the yarn. I need to make better yarn choices, quality over quantity. Think about that more. And I liked the smaller projects. Like in the end, I made the last 2 months. I made the weekend hats too. I made the hot water bottle covers. I really enjoyed that. So I want to lean a little bit more into those accessories. Like I want to make mittens. If you're curious, right now I have 2 weekend hats on my needles, one for a gift and one for myself. I have the Maxine hot water bottle cover on my needles. I have the Elisabeth blouse on my needles, my Christmas sweater on my needles. Not to mention the socks and the blanket. And I have yarn laying around for an Olga sweater by Petiteknit. I have yarn that I maybe want to make the Esther sweater with dark brown pear gint. I have yarn coming in from Knitting for Olive soon for the Lyon sweater, but then the better version. I like how this looks so much and I loved knitting this that I want to wear this. So I'm going to make one in a good quality fabric. So yeah, I don't want to get stressed by my to knit list, but I need to make some things, have them done, and then be mindful about my projects and my yarn that I'm really excited about. So I'm going to end this video right now because it's getting dark really soon now. I hope you had a wonderful time and this year will be a good year of knitting for you. And yeah, thank you so much for watching and I'll see you in my next video. Bye bye.